And now, episode 11 coming up. And you recall where we were last time. Cassio was talking about the squirrels. But he says, "Do you like plants?" He continues. Bailey is about to ask what was the difference when Cassio spots something deep in the brush. With a biting enthusiasm, he says, "Quick, come here. I want to show you something." "You like plants?" Bailey exhales with relief and says, "Well, yes. Father says that on Earth there are over 550 species of insectivorous plants. Did you know that?" Bailey answers, "I didn't know that." "And do you know why?" She concludes with a small smile, "Because I don't know what an insectivorous plant is." Cassio sits up quickly and changes his posture as he explains, "They are so cool. They are plants that eat bugs, like the Venus flytrap, the hanging pitcher plant leaf, and the cobra plant, and the butterwort. And so, what makes them different from each other? The plants all have their own methods in catching their prey. Some have trapdoors, while others have a slippery stem that causes the victim to fall inside into a real sticky substance where they are trapped and cannot move. You know, the only one I'm very familiar with is the Venus flytrap," says Bailey. My friend Joelle used to have a big one that was about a foot tall. It was a gorgeous plant, and as I recall it had brightly colored leaves. She told me how the edges of the plant had nectar produced there with its own glands. She says that's how Elfie caught his lunch. Cassio smiles and starts to feel a special bond with this lady that he just met. With endless enthusiasm, he continues, "That's right. Did you know the Venus flytrap has 3 trigger hairs in the middle of each leaf lobe?" Before she can answer, he says, "When an insect touches them, it closes the steel trap very, very fast. Depending on the temperature and sunlight, it can close at the speed of a 30th of a second. Isn't that amazing?" "Indeed," says Bailey, fascinated. Cassio begins to move down a path as Bailey walks parallel with him to make sure he realizes that she is paying attention to him. Bailey can tell that he is beginning to feel comfortable with her as he continues talking about something they both have in common. What's amazing is that when something is accidentally blown into the trap like a twig, the plant still catches it, but it will release it after a few days. But if the sensory organs of the leaf detect the presence of nitrogenous substance, enzymes are released that begin to break down the captured insects, and the plant begins to absorb it. That takes about 10 to 30 days, depending on how big the bug is. And, you seem to know a lot about the Venus flytrap. a lot more than me," says Bailey, complimentary. "Did I tell you how fast they slam their jaws on the prey?" As Cassio gestures a biting action with his own jaws that almost makes Bailey laugh. "Yes, you did," said Bailey with a smile and of approval. "A 30th of a second. Yeah, that's fast," says a wide-eyed Cassio, still at awe at that thought. Almost as fast as me, Bailey teases with a smile. Yeah, fast. You were listening. He beams with deep satisfaction. But wait, there's more. Before Bailey can speak up or even stop, he continues. Did you know that some plants are even faster? Like the bladderwort. It's a plant underwater. Bailey gets concerned, a concerned look on her face, and looks over to the body of water that she had been walking along and replies with a worried concern. You mean in there? Yes. In fact, its leaves contain numerous trapdoors with several long hairs. They don't call them traps. They call them bladders instead. Don't ask me why. So what does the bladderwort eat? If I may be so bold, replies Bailey as she waits for the moment he is not looking at her to readjust the mask around her torn shirt. Water fleas, explains Cassio. What? Bailey stops walking and looks in disgust at a slow-moving water. You mean this water has fleas? Like a dog? Cassio is somewhat startled by her response and is not sure if she's making a joke or so naive about what is in the body of waters and of them. A few seconds passes as she replies seriously, yes, they have fleas. But that's not the important thing. What's important is how they catch the fleas. You see, when the flea touches the long hairs on the trap, it opens up, and because of the water pressure inside the bladder is lower than from the outside, the flea is sucked in, and the door closes behind it in a 35th of a second. Swoosh! Pretty amazing stuff, huh? Concludes Cassio with enthusiastic grin and laugh. Come over here. Let me show you something. More eating plants? She replies nervously in jest. Cassio, not completely understanding her humor, replies innocently, Oh no, our plants don't eat people, just bugs. Although I did try to feed April, my fly trap at home, some dead skin from my father's feet. It started to eat it. It even made it look like bacon while it was digesting it. Your father's feet skin? Bailey replies in disbelief. Yeah, I know. That's the same look he gave me when I told him what I did. It's a wonder it didn't kill the plant, says Bailey in jest. Yeah, that's what he said. At least made them sick, he concludes with levity. After a few moments of silence, they come to an open area covered with tall trees and vines of all sizes hanging down. She assumes that the area where Cassio is going to show her some of the plants he's talking about. Here, you see this plant hanging over there by the trees over there? Bailey moves closer to it for inspection as Cassio speaks up boldly and begins to explain with elegance of a professor of botany scientist. That plant there is called the hanging pitcher plant. It's one of the largest carnivorous flesh-eating plants around. Bailey quickly withdraws her hand and says under her breath, Carnivorous? I should have guessed. Did you know that this pitcher plant can trap up to 2 pounds of frogs? Some plants even catch rats. Isn't that neat? Bailey smiles with admiration at the beautiful green and burgundy red plant and almost touching it with her fingers. Rats, huh? 2-legged or 4? She asked rhetorically. 2 legs? No, our rats here on Notlam have 4 legs, replies the bewildered Cassio. Bailey responds slowly, You're young. Trust me, someday you'll meet the 2-legged rats. And when you do, maybe you can introduce them to some of your plants. Bailey replies with sarcastic cynicism. Cassio is confused by all this and is not sure what to make of all this. Bailey sees him perplexed as she admonishes him. Go on. Finish telling me about this hanging picture plant. With reluctance, Cassio begins to reply slowly, still thinking about the two-legged rats. Well, each leaf resembles a jug or a pitcher, and when it rains, it has a little lid that closes to fill the water, to keep the water out. After the rain stops, it's open for business. The insect is lured by the bright colors of the plant and its sweet nectar. When it enters, it loses its footing and slides into the pool of liquid. That downward pointing hairs inside keep the insect from escaping, and is slowly digested. Some plants' nectar is narcotic that stupefies the prey, and it consumes it right there while it's all drugged up. Sounds grisly, says Bailey, souring her face. Only to the fly, I'm thinking, admits Cassio with a carefree smile. Bailey's attention is now drawn into something just behind Cassio. Say, now that's an interesting-looking plant. Looks like a cobra. Wait, it's not. No, it's not. But you have good eyes. It's called the cobra plant, she says with exuberance. It's an insect-eating plant as well. The insect will go inside its mouth and gets confused by the light that seems to be shining through the windows of the plant. He keeps flying to the light until he's exhausted and falls into the base of the plant and drowns in the liquid. Plants are so neat and amazing. Bailey is amazed at how excited Cassio is, almost out of breath as he concludes. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed your company, Cassio. You remind me so much of my grandson back home when he was your age. So tell me, are your parents alive? Of course. He smacked with sanguinity. So where are they? I'd like to meet them and tell them what a fine young man they have. Bailey replies like an old woman patting him on the top of his head. He replies almost embarrassed by the compliment and says somewhat retiring, oh, they're around. Mom's always doing stuff with people from all over, and Dad likes to read a lot. Dad says reading is the best way to learn. He says every time you read, your mind flashes the image at you for 1/100th of a second, and in that split 1/100th of a second, your subconscious mind remembers it and never forgets it. My, that's faster than both you and I run together, isn't it? Says Bailey with darting warm eyes. Cassio returns the grin and says, yeah, but me, I'm different than my dad. I don't like to read that much. I like to watch animals, insects, and plants and things and learn from them. But mostly, he says sheepishly, I like to play with them. They're all my friends. I understand them, and they understand me. Bailey nods with support and says, so tell me more about your parents. My dad is real smart. Did I tell you he reads books? Bailey politely nods and says, yes, you did. What kind of books? All kinds. My dad especially likes to read books on history. He likes to teach me things about mostly history. He said he used to teach lots and lots of people history a long time ago. Bailey is stunned by this information and cannot respond at first. It sounds like he's talking about Champ Cant, her son-in-law. Cassio becomes unaware of her preoccupation as he continues to ramble on again without taking a breath. Now, my mother likes to teach me about places she's been in her life and the different cultures and things, and why are you looking at me like that? Bailey shakes her head and buries her mouth inside her coupled hands. and begins to cry. Are you all right? I didn't mean to make you sad. I'm sorry. Please don't cry. Pleads Cassio at the break of tears himself. Bailey removes her hands from her face, revealing the countenance of a subdued smile along with visible tear lines that betray her own sweet joy. Cassio, don't be alarmed, but I think you're my grandson. Towards Bailey, a bit wide-eyed yet tranquil. Cassio looks at her in disbelief and says, You're my grandmother? Bailey grins slowly and largely as she wags her head, yes, almost not believing in herself. Your mother, Marie, is my daughter. She's the one I used to always run with on Tuesdays and Fridays. But I thought you were dead, says Cassio, mystified. No, I was away and couldn't get back. Away? They told me that too about Grandpa when I was little, but when I got older they told me that both were dead, explains Cassio as he looks away with a sense of betrayal. Dead? Judge? Bailey utters painfully, not noting Cassio's confusion. Bailey begins solemn and silent as she utters to herself almost silently, Oh, Judge. She was hoping he was still alive and almost forgot he was originally on borrowed time from the cancer before he left Earth and came to Notland. She's deeply saddened by this realization of his passing and is frozen with disappointment and sadness. She had almost forgotten about his condition being diagnosed as incurable back home. Your eyes. What's wrong with your eyes? Why are you crying? Asked the befuddled Cassio. Was it something I said? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you sad. I'm always doing that, as Cassio's demeanor edges itself on a break of tears itself. No. It's all right. It's not you. I just didn't expect Judge to be dead. I expected to find him alive with all the others. I was told that he was alive, that's all. It's not you. Oh, says Cassio, still not completely understanding the emotional turn in humans' relations. Cassio, could you take me to your home? I would like to see your mother and father again. It would make me very happy. And now, Chapter 8. Guess who's coming to dinner? And this concludes episode 11.